Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, somewhere between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., your heart racing for no reason, eyes wide open, as if some force was pulling you out of sleep? Maybe you looked at the clock, groaned, and rolled over, thinking it was just stress or bad dreams. But deep down, didn't it feel different? Like it wasn't random? Like something inside you was trying to get your attention? That's not just your body waking up. That's your soul tapping you on the shoulder. There's a reason your eyes open during those dark, silent hours. The world is quiet, but something inside you is screaming to be heard. You can't explain it, but you feel it, that restlessness, that whisper of a deeper calling, that ache in your chest that says you're meant for more than just surviving each day. Most people ignore this moment. They brush it off as bad sleep. But what if it's the most important message you'll ever receive? What if this is your moment of awakening? In those hours, before the world begins its noise, you are at your most vulnerable and your most powerful. It's the time when your mind is quiet enough to hear what really matters. No distractions, no outside voices, just you and the truth you've been running from. The truth about who you are. The truth about what you want. The truth about why you feel so empty even when everything looks fine on the outside. That's why you're waking up. Because your soul is no longer willing to be silent. This is not a mistake. You didn't just happen to wake up. You were called to. Your subconscious is trying to hand you something: insight, clarity, direction, but you have to be awake enough to receive it. Not just with your eyes, but with your heart. This moment isn't a problem. It's a gift. And once you understand that, everything starts to change. You begin to see that life isn't just happening to you. It's speaking to you, guiding you, preparing you for more. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll learn what you need to do in these quiet, sacred hours. 3 simple but powerful steps that will help you stop ignoring your life's message and finally step into the version of yourself you were always meant to be. If you've ever felt lost, stuck, or numb, this might be the turning point you didn't know you were waiting for. This is your chance to wake up, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You are not here by accident, and neither is this hour. So take a breath, open your heart, and listen closely, because everything is about to shift. Most people will never recognize this moment for what it truly is. They'll reach for their phone, check the time, scroll through distractions until sleep swallows them again. And just like that, they miss it. They miss the one chance the universe gives them each day to pause, to reflect, to hear their own soul speak without the noise of the world drowning it out. But you're here, and that means something inside you is already awake. You're not like the rest. You feel it, the tension between who you've been and who you're meant to be. That quiet ache that keeps showing up in the silence, asking if you're ready to finally listen. This isn't just another night. This is the edge of change. Right now, something inside you is trying to break free. You felt the weight of invisible chains: doubt, fear, exhaustion, regret. But that feeling in your chest, the one that rises like a wave when no one else is watching, that's your truth demanding a voice. You are not just a body that wakes and sleeps. You are a soul on fire, buried under layers of routine and expectations. That fire doesn't go out. It waits, patiently. And every time you wake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it's trying to burn a little brighter. This is why you must pay attention. This is why you cannot ignore it anymore. The stillness of this hour holds more power than an entire day of noise. When the world sleeps, your inner world speaks. And the most dangerous thing you can do is pretend it's just a coincidence. It's not. It's an invitation, a sacred moment given only to those who are ready to rise. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to know what comes next. You only need to stop resisting and start listening. Every time you silence this call, something in you grows quieter. The dreams you buried get a little harder to hear. The courage you once had feels a little further away. But when you decide to stop running and meet yourself in the stillness, you reclaim all of it: your fire, your truth, your path. The pain you've been carrying doesn't have to define you. The mistakes don't have to follow you. The doubt doesn't have to win. But only if you show up now, fully, completely, awake. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every time you rise in these early hours, you take one step closer to the person you were always meant to be. This is your moment to stop sleeping through your potential, to stop numbing yourself with distractions, to stop postponing the life that's been waiting for you. Stay with this feeling. Lean into it. Because everything you've been searching for begins when you finally answer the call that keeps waking you up. You don't need a sign. This is the sign. The silence isn't empty. It's full of answers you've been too busy to hear until now. If you're awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., the first thing you must do is stop running from yourself. Do not reach for your phone. Do not drown your thoughts in noise. Sit with yourself, in the quiet, in the discomfort, in the truth you've been avoiding. This is the hour where your deepest fears try to surface not to destroy you, but to free you. They rise when your defenses are down, not to break you, but to show you what's been silently controlling your life. The fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being forgotten. In the stillness they speak, and for once you must listen. This is where strength begins, not in pretending everything is fine, but in facing the parts of yourself you've buried, the lies you've told yourself, the pain you've tried to hide, the moments that haunt you when the world is silent. Don't run, don't numb it. Sit in it. Breathe through it. Let it rise and pass. Because that pain you feel isn't weakness. It's proof that you care. It's proof that your soul is still alive, still reaching, still ready to grow. The more you resist, the more it controls you. But when you finally stop resisting, when you let it come, you begin to take your power back. This is where healing begins. In the quiet decision to stay present, to feel the things you've spent years trying to escape. You don't have to fix everything tonight. You don't need to solve every problem in a single breath. You only need to show up for yourself, fully, honestly, with no filters. When you do that, you begin to rebuild the trust you lost in yourself. You begin to remember who you are beneath the masks. You begin to reconnect with your strength, not the kind that pretends, but the kind that endures. The kind that chooses to face truth. Even when it hurts, your life does not change through avoidance. It changes through awareness, through courage, through presence. And this hour, the sacred window before dawn, is your space to practice that. To train your mind to stop fleeing discomfort and start transforming through it. Because that is what this pain is trying to do. Transform you, elevate you, sharpen you. It's not your enemy, it's your teacher. So if you find yourself awake when the world sleeps, don't turn away. Turn inward. Breathe. Acknowledge what you feel. And remind yourself, feeling deeply is not weakness, it's your superpower. It's the gateway to clarity, purpose, and strength. Every time you choose to sit with yourself in the silence, you become more powerful than the chaos around you. This is where resilience is born. Not in fighting the night, but in learning to rise inside it. If you want to change your life, you must first learn to meet yourself in the dark. Because only then can you begin to bring your true light to the world. When the darkness surrounds you and silence becomes the loudest sound, that is your opportunity to realign with who you truly are. In this space, stripped of distractions, you are no longer who the world expects you to be. You are raw, unfiltered, honest. And for the first time in a long time, you can hear the voice within the one that whispers the truth no one else can give you. It tells you what you've ignored. It shows you where you've settled. It brings to light the gap between who you are and who you could be. And it dares you to close that gap, not tomorrow, but now. This is your mirror. The moment that reflects everything you've carried, everything you've denied, everything you're capable of becoming. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It reveals. And that truth, however uncomfortable, is your greatest gift. Because only when you see what's holding you back can you begin to rise above it. This isn't about fixing yourself. You are not broken. This is about shedding what no longer serves you. The fear that keeps you small. The guilt that keeps you stuck. The doubt that makes you question your worth. Let it all fall away. You don't need it anymore. Let go of the belief that your value depends on how much you produce or how perfect you. A network error occurred. Please check your connection and try again. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help.openeye.com. Now that you've chosen to sit with yourself in the silence, the second step is to ask the questions you've been too afraid to ask. The kind that shake you, the kind that strip away the noise and expose the truth underneath. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling? Not what you're supposed to feel, not what you've been told to feel, but what is truly there, raw and unfiltered. Name it, own it, let it breathe. Because clarity only comes when you stop lying to yourself. Growth only begins when you meet yourself with honesty, not judgment. This is your space to confront what you've been avoiding, the patterns, the habits, the excuses, the dreams you said were impossible, the changes you've delayed until someday. The silence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. reveals everything you've buried under the weight of busy days and tired nights. And for the first time, there's no one to impress, no one to please, no one to pretend for. Just you. And this is where your power begins to return. Because in this moment, you're not running, hiding, or performing. You're facing yourself with truth. That's rare. That's real. And that's where everything changes. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? Not what others expect. Not what sounds safe. What you want, deeply, fiercely, passionately. The thing that keeps tugging at your heart even when logic tells you to let go. The thing you dream about when no one's watching. That's not a fantasy. That's your direction. That's your internal compass begging you to follow it. You're not lost, you've just been disconnected from your desires. You've been surviving so long, you forgot what it feels like to want something boldly, without shame or fear. But that flame is still inside you, and this is the hour to feed it. Ask yourself, what is stopping me? Say it out loud. Give your fears a name. Make them visible. Because once you see them, they start to lose their grip. Most fear thrives in the dark, in silence, in hiding. But when you expose it, when you bring it into the light of your awareness, you begin to take control. You start to see that the walls around you were built in your own mind. They're not real, and the moment you stop treating them like truth, they start to fall. One honest question at a time. This is your internal revolution, the quiet rising of your own strength. Not loud, not dramatic, just real. You asking the hard questions, you facing the honest answers, you reclaiming what life has tried to numb in you. This is not easy, it's not comfortable, but it is the beginning of everything. Because the truth is, you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. You don't need to be fixed, you need to be found. And the path to finding yourself begins with questions, the kind only you can answer, the kind only silence can reveal, the kind that wake you up for good. Once the questions are asked, and the truth is brought to the surface, the real choice begins. Will you rise or will you retreat? Because knowing is not enough. Feeling is not enough. You must now decide to act. Not later, not someday. Now. The moment you're awake between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is not random, it's a calling. A disruption sent to shake you out of sleepwalking through life. You've been gifted a crack in time, a moment before the world floods back in, to choose differently. This is the hour of raw power, of quiet commitment, of deciding who you will become when no one is watching. Change does not happen in front of a crowd. It begins in solitude, in silence, in the moments where no applause is heard and no validation is given. You must make the decision to rise in the dark so that later you can shine in the light. This isn't about grand gestures. It's not about fixing everything in a night. It's about doing one small, honest thing that shifts your energy, that breaks the cycle, that moves you forward. It might be as simple as writing down what you want, speaking out loud what you've been too afraid to admit, standing up and choosing not to go back to sleep, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. The world has trained you to delay your power, to wait for signs, to wait for permission. But the truth is, you don't need more time. You need more courage. And courage begins in moments like this, quiet, sacred, alone. When you take back the hours that most people waste. When you choose to breathe, reflect, ask, and now act. This is where momentum is born. This is where the shift begins, not just in your mind, but in your identity. You are no longer someone who watches life happen. You are someone who takes the first step. Even when the path is not fully visible, the mind will try to pull you back. It will whisper that nothing has changed, that it's too hard, too late, too uncertain. But that voice isn't truth. It's habit. And you are not your habits. You are your choices. You are the quiet warrior who woke when others slept, who stood when comfort called, who chose self-respect over self-sabotage. That decision, repeated in the still hours of the morning, becomes the foundation of a new life. A life built not on fear, but on intention. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to do everything all at once. You just need to begin. One small act of alignment, one decision to not let this hour pass unnoticed. That is how transformation takes root, not in noise, but in stillness, not in fantasy, but in action. And when you rise from this moment, you will not be the same, because you did what most never do. You woke up and you answered, and now that you've answered, you must protect what you've awakened. The clarity, the conviction, the courage, it's all fragile at first. Like a spark just lit, it can be smothered by the noise of the world if you're not careful. That's why this moment matters so deeply. You've stepped into your awareness, you've taken back your power, and now you must anchor it before the day rushes in with its distractions, expectations, and demands. This hour, the sacred window, is not just for reflection. It's your time to build a shield, a mental armor made of intention, discipline, and unshakable focus. Because transformation doesn't last if it's not guarded. You have to train your mind to protect what matters. Every thought you choose either fuels your growth or feeds your doubt. And you know which ones you've allowed for too long. The self-talk that tells you to wait. The inner critic that says you're not ready. The mental habits that keep you repeating the same cycles, living the same days, and wondering why nothing changes. Those patterns don't vanish just because you woke up early. They vanish because you confront them every time they rise. You must decide again and again what kind of voice you will listen to, the one that limits you or the one that liberates you, Start with a declaration, a statement of who you are and what you stand for. Not a wish, but a command. Speak it with strength. Let your subconscious hear your voice claim the identity you are stepping into. Say it until it begins to feel real. You are not here to survive, you are here to lead your life, not follow it. And that begins with how you choose to speak to yourself before anyone else gets a chance to. This is not about arrogance. This is about alignment. You aligning your words with your truth, your thoughts with your purpose, your actions with your future. This mental discipline is not something you practice once. It's something you build every single morning. It becomes your foundation, your filter. When your mind is trained to focus on what matters, your entire life shifts. Distractions lose their pull. Excuses lose their power, and your vision becomes clear. Because the mind, when left unchecked, will always return to comfort. But when directed with strength, it becomes a force that creates your reality. So do not let this hour pass without reinforcing who you are becoming. Lock in your mindset. Set your focus. Speak your truth. Because you are not simply someone who wakes up early. You are someone who uses that hour to rewire your identity, realign your path, and reset your energy. While others sleep through their transformation, you meet yours head on. This is your discipline. This is your ritual. And every time you rise and protect your power, you prove to yourself that nothing outside of you is stronger than what's rising inside. When your mind is aligned and your inner voice is no longer your enemy, the final step is to take that alignment and give it a direction. Without direction, even the strongest mindset drifts. Energy without focus is scattered. But when you channel that energy into a single intention, it becomes power. You must decide each morning where you are going. Not in vague hopes or abstract dreams, but with concrete, intentional clarity. What will you create today? Who will you become today? What will you no longer tolerate today? These are not just questions. They are declarations of purpose that shape your actions before the world has a chance to. There's a reason your soul wakes you between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. It's not to scroll. It's not to worry. It's not to relive yesterday's failures. It's to set the tone for everything that follows. You are not here to respond to life. You are here to lead it. And leadership starts with self-direction. Before the noise begins, before the emails, the opinions, the outside world, this is the hour you choose what matters. This is when you stop being pulled and start pulling. When you stop reacting and start creating. One choice, one focus, one decision at a time. Ask yourself what matters most. Not just what's urgent, but what's essential. The things that move you closer to the life you want to live, not just the life you've settled for. This is where you take all the clarity you gained in silence, all the truth you faced in stillness, and now you translate it into movement. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, especially then. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and purpose does not wait for conditions to be ideal. It only waits for you to show up. Start the day with an action that aligns with your highest self, not a task, an intention. Something that says to your future, I'm already on my way. Whether it's 10 minutes of building your skill, 5 minutes of writing down your goals, or even one breath taken with intention, what matters is that you are moving from truth, not from habit. And when you start from truth, everything changes. You stop being busy and start being effective. You stop chasing and start becoming. You stop doubting and start doing. This is how you build momentum, not through motivation that fades, but through direction that stays. Every morning, you are either preparing for your power or surrendering it, and the way you begin shapes the way you continue. Don't wait for the world to choose for you. Don't hand over your focus before you've claimed your mission. This hour is not a ritual, it is a responsibility. You have been called to rise, to face yourself, to reclaim your mind, and now, to move with purpose. The rest of the world will wake soon, but you are already ahead, because you didn't just wake up. You chose to rise with direction. When you move with direction, you start to notice something shift inside you. The hesitation that once held you back begins to weaken. The fears that used to paralyze you begin to lose their grip. Why? Because forward motion builds evidence. Each step you take, no matter how small, is proof that you are no longer stuck in the same loop. And that proof rewires your identity. It tells your brain that you are becoming the kind of person who does not wait to feel ready. You act. You commit. You follow through. That's where real confidence is born, not from the outside, not from praise or permission, but from the quiet certainty that you can trust yourself to rise. And that trust must be built daily. Not once, not when it's convenient, but especially when it's hard. Especially when it's early, when no one sees, when no one claps. That's the arena where the strongest identities are forged. When you act with intention before the world demands anything from you, you are shaping your day instead of being shaped by it. This is the shift that changes everything. Most people wake up reacting. You wake up creating. Most people begin with doubt. You begin with direction. And that one decision ripples into every area of your life. Because how you start is how you continue. If you begin your morning grounded in discipline, your thoughts stay clear. If you start with purpose, your emotions don't drag you off course. If you move with direction, distractions lose their pull. You're not just training for one moment, you're building a lifestyle. And that lifestyle starts before the sun rises, before the noise, before the world tells you who you should be. You already decided. You already know. This is your edge, your secret advantage. While others search for motivation, you've built it from within. While others chase clarity, you've created it in silence. You are no longer begging life to change. You are becoming the one who changes it. And it starts here, every morning between those sacred hours. When the world is asleep, but your vision is wide awake. When the doubts are silent and your voice is loud. When nothing around you is demanding anything, so you can finally demand more from yourself. You don't need permission to transform. You don't need approval to rise. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You only need consistency. You only need discipline. You only need the decision to keep showing up again and again until showing up becomes who you are. And once that identity is locked in, nothing can shake it. Not fear, not failure, not the past, not even the world's resistance, because you have already conquered the hardest battle, the one within. You have chosen to own your mornings, and in doing so, you are owning your future. There is a quiet power in owning your mornings that most will never understand. It's not about doing more or pushing harder. It's about showing up with intentionality when the world is still resting. This is where the gap widens, the difference between those who dream and those who become. When you claim these early hours, you build an unbreakable foundation that no external chaos can shake. You set a standard for yourself, a promise that you will protect your growth no matter what. This sacred commitment ignites your soul because it tells you, without question, that you are worthy of your own time and effort. That worthiness becomes your anchor. It steadies you when doubt creeps in, when distractions beg for your attention, and when the comfort of sleep tempts you back. Because deep down, your mind knows the truth. Every decision you make in these quiet hours shapes not just your day, but your destiny. The simple act of rising with purpose rewires your brain to crave progress, not excuses. You reprogram your habits, not by force, but by alignment. When your actions reflect your deepest desires, resistance fades. You no longer battle yourself. You partner with your potential. This alignment between who you are and who you want to be is the ultimate transformation. It is the bridge between intention and reality. Without it, motivation is fleeting and willpower is fragile. But with it, your identity shifts. You become someone who moves forward regardless of circumstances. Someone who trusts their own consistency more than fleeting feelings. Someone who meets each challenge with resilience born from the simple discipline of showing up for themselves first, before the noise, before the chaos, before the world's expectations. When you protect your morning like this, you protect your vision, you defend your dreams, you build a fortress around your purpose. Because the battle is never about others, it's about mastering your own mind. And mastering your mind begins with mastering your mornings. This is where you create the momentum that carries you through every trial, every setback, every moment of uncertainty. This momentum is a force that grows stronger each day, fueled by the quiet victories you claim before dawn. So ask yourself, how much longer will you wait for life to hand you permission? How many mornings will you surrender before you realize that time is your most precious asset? The truth is, the power to change everything is in your hands every single day, the moment you decide to rise and own it. When you do, you step into a cycle of unstoppable growth, relentless progress, and unwavering belief. You stop surviving and start thriving. You don't just wake up, you awaken. This awakening is not a moment, it is a movement, your movement. The one that begins before the world stirs, inside the quiet strength you build with every intentional breath, every focused thought, every purposeful action. When you decide to own these early hours, you step into a world few dare to enter, a space where greatness is born quietly, away from the noise and distractions that dilute your focus. It is here, in this stillness, that you confront the truth about yourself without distraction. You come face to face with your doubts, your fears, and the limiting beliefs that have held you back. But instead of running away, you meet them head on, with calm clarity and unshakable resolve. This confrontation is not comfortable. It demands courage, the kind that is forged in silence, when no one else is watching. Yet it is the courage that fuels transformation, because it breaks the chains of complacency and ignites a fire of relentless pursuit. You begin to realize that your mind is your greatest asset, but only if you train it. Like any muscle, it strengthens through deliberate practice, and those quiet hours are your training ground. The distractions that pull others away become your shield. Your ability to focus sharpens. Your mental clarity deepens. You develop an inner discipline so strong that when the world clamors for your attention, you choose your priorities instead. You become the author of your own day, writing each moment with intention and precision. This ownership rewires your identity. No longer are you someone who drifts through life hoping for change. You become the force that drives it. This force is unstoppable because it is fueled by purpose and sustained by habit. It is the accumulation of small actions taken consistently when the world is silent. These actions, simple yet profound, compound over time until you no longer recognize the person you were. You are stronger, wiser, more capable, more alive. This growth does not come from external validation, but from the internal truth that you can rely on yourself no matter what. It builds resilience that cannot be shaken by setbacks or failures, because you know your worth is not tied to outcomes, but to your commitment to keep moving forward. As this internal shift happens, you notice your energy changes. It becomes focused, vibrant, and unwavering. You stop wasting time on distractions and start channeling your efforts into what truly matters. Your goals are no longer distant dreams, but daily realities shaped by deliberate choices. Every action aligns with your vision, reinforcing your belief that you are capable of extraordinary things. This alignment is magnetic. It draws opportunities, people, and resources to you because it resonates with the clarity and power you now embody. Remember, the moment you decide to rise early and claim these hours, you are reclaiming your life. You are breaking free from the cycle of reaction and stepping into creation. You are proving to yourself that you are worthy of success, happiness, and fulfillment. This is not just about waking up early, it is about waking up fully to your potential, and that awakening is the first step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Each morning you choose to rise early, you make a declaration that echoes far beyond those quiet hours. You declare that your life will no longer be governed by excuses or distractions. You claim control over your time, your thoughts, and your actions. This is the true power of waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., not simply to start the day earlier, but to start it stronger. To begin it with clarity, intention, and unshakable resolve. It is a practice that rewires your mind to crave discipline over comfort, progress over procrastination, and growth over stagnation. When you embrace this, you step out of the ordinary and into the extraordinary. Your brain, shaped by the habits you build, begins to seek out opportunities to reinforce this new way of being. It learns that early mornings are not moments to waste, but chances to grow. The stillness becomes your ally, the silence your sanctuary. You gain a rare advantage, a head start on the world before its noise and chaos invade your space. In these hours, distractions lose their power. Your mind sharpens, your goals clarify, and your energy aligns with your deepest purpose. This alignment becomes a force field, protecting you from the pull of negativity and doubt. You become more resilient, more focused, more driven than ever before. The early morning is more than a time on the clock, it is a mindset. It transforms how you perceive yourself and what you believe is possible. The decision to wake up when others sleep builds a mental toughness that cannot be bought or borrowed. It is earned through consistent action, day after day, no matter how hard it feels. This toughness is your shield against the voices of fear and limitation that whisper lies about your potential. With every sunrise you greet, you silence those voices a little more, replacing them with the truth of your capability, your strength, and your worth. When you take this seriously, you begin to see results ripple through every part of your life. Your productivity skyrockets because you've claimed the hours when your mind is at its sharpest. Your relationships improve because you bring greater presence and intention into your interactions. Your health benefits because you prioritize routines that support your well-being. Most importantly, your self-belief grows because you have proven to yourself, over and over, that you can follow through on what matters most. This is not about perfection or never faltering. It is about the relentless commitment to return to your purpose, no matter how many times you stray. The path to transformation is paved with small victories, those moments when you choose growth instead of comfort, courage instead of fear, action instead of inertia. And it all begins in the quiet stillness before dawn. When you embrace that power, you unlock a chain reaction of positive change that reshapes your entire life. You are not here by accident. You are not destined to drift through days without meaning. You are here because deep inside, you know there is more for you to become, more for you to achieve, and more for you to give. This moment is your invitation to answer that call, to rise early, to move with intention, and to become the unstoppable force you were born to be. Your life awaits. The decision to seize these early hours is a profound act of self-respect. It tells your mind, body, and soul that you refuse to settle for mediocrity or distraction. It signals that you value your dreams more than the comfort of sleep, that your purpose is worth the sacrifice of a few quiet moments. This choice rewires your brain to prioritize what truly matters. It rewires your identity so that who you are aligns with what you want to become. This alignment is the fuel that sustains you when motivation fades, when challenges rise, and when the world tries to pull you back into old patterns. The power in these early mornings lies in their sacred stillness. The world's noise has not yet drowned out your inner voice. There is clarity here, a pure space where your thoughts are not cluttered by chaos or obligation. In this clarity, you find your true priorities. You can focus deeply on what drives your growth, what feeds your passion, and what nurtures your soul. It is in this focused state that you create momentum, not by rushing or forcing, but by aligning action with purpose. Every small step taken in this calm space compounds, building unstoppable momentum toward your goals. Psychology teaches us that habits shape identity, and identity shapes destiny. By choosing to rise in these quiet hours, you are creating a powerful habit that rewires your sense of self. You become someone who acts with intention, someone who takes control of their day before the distractions arrive. This identity is a fortress against doubt and hesitation. It is a source of confidence that grows stronger with each day you commit to it. The simple act of waking early becomes a symbol of your deeper commitment to yourself, a commitment that carries you through every struggle and setback. When you cultivate this habit, you start to notice subtle shifts everywhere. Your thinking sharpens, your creativity flows more freely. Your ability to solve problems increases because your mind has the space to breathe and reflect. You begin to make better decisions, not because you try harder, but because you are clearer about what matters. This clarity reduces stress, heightens focus, and brings a sense of peace that is rare in a world driven by urgency and distraction. You become the calm in the storm, the steady hand that guides your life forward with purpose. But more than anything, waking in these early hours trains you to believe in your own power. It proves that you can break free from old habits and limitations. It shows you that you are capable of more than you thought possible. This belief is the foundation of all transformation. It is the invisible force that pushes you to take risks, to pursue dreams relentlessly, and to rise after every fall. It is the inner voice that whispers, "I am worth this effort. I am deserving of success." When you hear and trust this voice, you unlock the courage to live boldly, authentically, and fully. Choosing these early hours is not just about gaining time, it's about reclaiming yourself. It's a declaration that you will not be a passive passenger in your own life. You will steer your course with intention and heart. This choice ignites a chain reaction of growth, resilience, and fulfillment that no one can take away. It is your invitation to step into your power and create a life that reflects the greatness already inside you. This moment is yours. Claim it. There is a unique strength found in the quiet moments when the world sleeps and you are awake. It is in these early hours that your mind is free to break away from old patterns and limiting beliefs. The stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting back your deepest truths, your fears, your hopes, your potential. In this clarity, you begin to see not just who you are, but who you have the power to become. This is the space where transformation begins, because true change requires that you confront yourself honestly. It demands that you face your resistance, your doubts, and your discomfort with courage and resolve. When you choose to embrace this moment rather than avoid it, you step into your own power. The science behind early rising shows that this habit activates your brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, focus, and self-control. This means that waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. isn't just about gaining more time, it's about accessing a mental edge that sets you apart. You tap into a heightened state of awareness and discipline, giving you the capacity to plan, create, and act with precision. This state is rare, and it is precious. The people who learn to harness it move faster toward their goals, not because they work harder, but because they work smarter. This early morning clarity allows you to align your actions with your purpose in ways that feel natural and powerful. More than that, rising in these hours rewires your emotional resilience. When you choose discomfort, sacrificing extra sleep, embracing silence, pushing through temptation, you train your brain to tolerate uncertainty and discomfort without giving up. This builds a deep inner strength that carries over into every challenge you face throughout the day. You become less reactive to stress and more proactive in pursuing your vision. The simple act of waking early becomes a daily rehearsal for overcoming obstacles and mastering yourself. Over time, this rewiring transforms your entire mindset, empowering you to respond to setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. The power of these early hours is not found in grand gestures or sudden breakthroughs. It is found in consistency, in the small but deliberate actions taken over and over. Each morning you rise early, you plant a seed of greatness. Each focused thought, each intentional action nurtures that seed into something strong and unshakable. This is how ordinary days become extraordinary lives through relentless commitment to what matters most. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present, being willing to show up even when it's hard, being willing to push beyond comfort to reach the next level of your potential. You must understand that this practice is not for the faint of heart. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and a relentless refusal to settle. But what it gives you in return is priceless. A life of purpose, freedom, and fulfillment. a life where you are the creator of your destiny, not a victim of circumstance. When you rise early, you take ownership of your time and, more importantly, your life. You reclaim your power to design your future according to your highest vision. And once you experience this power, you will never want to go back. Because waking in these early hours is not just a habit, it is the doorway to becoming the best version of yourself. You may have felt the weight of your own potential pressing against the walls of your current life, whispering that there is more for you, more meaning, more freedom, more joy waiting just beyond the boundaries of comfort. Yet, that pull toward growth often meets resistance. That resistance comes in the form of fatigue, distraction, and the temptation to surrender to the familiar rhythms that keep you stuck. But what if waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. could be your rebellion against that resistance? What if those quiet hours could be your sanctuary, where your highest self rises to meet you? This is not just an act of waking, it is an act of defiance against complacency and a declaration of your commitment to change. The stillness of these hours offers a rare opportunity to cultivate mindfulness, a state where you become fully aware of your thoughts, your emotions, and your intentions without judgment. This awareness is the foundation of transformation because it breaks the cycle of automatic reactions and unconscious habits. When you engage in mindfulness during these early moments, you gain control over your inner world. You begin to see clearly the patterns that hold you back and the beliefs that limit your progress. With this clarity comes choice. You realize that you are not bound by your past or your fears. You have the power to redefine who you are and what you will create. This realization is the spark that ignites true change. Every decision you make during these quiet hours echoes throughout your day and your life. When you choose to engage with intention rather than drift passively, you train your brain to prioritize purpose over distraction. This trains your subconscious to seek alignment between your actions and your deepest values. The more you practice this alignment, the more automatic it becomes. You start to live from a place of purpose, where your goals are not just tasks to check off, but expressions of your authentic self. This shift transforms your experience of life from obligation to opportunity. It turns struggle into growth and fear into courage. Within this sacred space, your resilience grows stronger. You build the mental muscle needed to face uncertainty with confidence and grace. You develop the ability to hold steady when everything around you seems chaotic or overwhelming. This resilience is born not from avoiding challenges, but from choosing to meet them head-on, fueled by the calm focus that these early hours provide. It is a resilience that will carry you through setbacks and disappointments, reminding you that every difficulty is temporary and that your potential is infinite. Choosing to wake early is choosing to live intentionally. It is choosing to step into your power rather than waiting for life to happen to you. It is the ultimate act of self-love because it honors your dreams and respects your capacity to achieve them. When you claim these hours, you claim yourself. You begin to embody the courage, discipline, and clarity necessary to create the life you desire. And once you experience the transformation that comes from this choice, you will understand that waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. is not just about time, it is about awakening to your true potential and living it every day. The true power of waking between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. lies in its ability to reset your relationship with time itself. Most people view time as an enemy, a scarce resource slipping through their fingers, fueling anxiety and regret. But those quiet hours reveal a hidden truth. Time is your greatest ally when you learn to own it fully. You see, time doesn't judge your past or your mistakes. It offers you a fresh start every day, a chance to step into a new version of yourself. This early morning window is a secret portal where you regain control over your moments, choosing how you spend them with clarity and purpose. When you claim this time, you claim your life. The shift in perspective transforms how you approach every challenge. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by endless to-dos, you begin to see each task as a deliberate step toward your vision. Your mind sharpens, your focus deepens, and distractions lose their grip. The simple act of waking early rewires your brain to prioritize what truly matters, silencing the noise of doubt and fear. With this mental clarity, you gain the confidence to make bold decisions. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. The early hours teach you that greatness is born not in ease, but in the discipline to show up when others do not. Harnessing this time also nourishes your emotional well-being. In those still, uninterrupted moments, you reconnect with your inner self, your values, your dreams, your strength. This connection restores balance when life feels chaotic and demands feel heavy. It reminds you that you are not defined by external circumstances, but by the resilience and courage you cultivate within. Your emotional energy becomes a powerful force, fueling your determination and calming your fears. You learn to meet life's uncertainties with grace, knowing that your inner peace is unshakable because it is grounded in purpose. The quiet of the early morning becomes your sanctuary for growth. It is where you cultivate habits that build momentum, habits of reflection, planning, and intentional action. These habits form the foundation of success because they align your daily choices with your deepest aspirations. Each morning you commit to this practice, you build a fortress of self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can rely on your own discipline and willpower. This self-trust becomes the backbone of your transformation, empowering you to break free from old limitations and reach new heights. Ultimately, waking during these hours is an act of reclaiming your power. It is a declaration that your life is yours to design. When you embrace this practice, you step into a rhythm that amplifies your potential and accelerates your growth. You move beyond the survival mindset into a realm where you thrive. The hours between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. are not just a time on the clock, they are a gateway to your highest self. And once you step through this gateway, you will never see time or your own potential the same way again.